Welcome back to the Warlock Journal here at the Agamemnon Game Review. Today's broadcast is being recorded on the 21st of September 2018. It's 9:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. This video was captured on the 5th of September, actually the 6th because it was shortly after midnight. But we're going to call it the 5th of September. And this is part 6, the final part for the 5th of September. And as mentioned before in a couple other videos, the Blizzard UI has a glitch in it, and what happens is after I change map zones every now and then, you get this sort of map glitch, which makes it so you're, say like you have a quest where you have to choose between one item or the other. It won't allow you to select one or the two of them. Or if you go sell stuff at the merchant, you can't right click on the stuff and sell it. And the only way I found to clear that out is to just shut the game down, go all the way down the desktop, and then reload the game, and that clears out that fault. And it's gonna creep its head in here in a little bit, but we'll bear through it and continue on. This part is about 43 minutes in length, and most of the action takes place in the next zone, which is was it Nazir? Trying to get a sense of the dungeon I'm gonna have to do, whether to do it now or in the morning, but I decided to go ahead and do it in the morning. That's what ended up happening. Or the afternoon. Because I was looking at how much time I have, and it was already like 2 a.m. and I didn't have to work, so that really wasn't an issue, but when using the Windows game DVR, it captures the image and puts it on your actual hard drive. So I wanted to go ahead and move all those files over to my other hard drive and reclaim all that hard drive space, so the game won't start acting all funky as you're losing virtual memory. So here I came over here. I was noticing the game acting all weird, so I decided to log out and reset the UI. Now just resetting the UI from within the game won't correct that problem. Now I forget how I got all the way over here. Looks like these were shot out of sequence, because this was like from early in the morning. Early in the evening when I came back from talking with Nathanos, and he sent me over to talk with the island expedition people. We'll go ahead and keep that in this part. I don't really feel like changing everything around. And in terms of context, if this is what I think it is, doesn't matter what order you had shown it in. It kind of explains. It's sort of an introduction to the island expedition for the character officially in the story. They send you over to talk to this guy.
What is your business here? Watch yourself within our city. I am listening. Ichuka Zandala.
So here we go. We go off to do our first island expedition. Now you can see up there on the quest, this is prior to us going to meet King Rastus Khan. So that stuff that we just saw in part 5, this is out of sequence from that. So, but this actually occurred before that. So I'm just gonna keep it. I don't really think it's needs to be organized, reshot. So.
Do you need protection? Our kingdom will be defended.
Actually, this is the part where we went to these little islands and we dealt with some of the threats on there. And unlocked some of these flight paths. That's what happened. It's actually a pretty long sequence of events. Because we had to fly all over the place. But it gives us the backstory on this Loa, so it's important. As always, we charge up our soul stones. Find the gangway here. For you non-Navy types, the little thing going over to the ship is called a gangway. I think here's where I start to use the Hand of Gul'dan a little more. As my bread and butter plays here. Because I feel when I see other people using Hand of Gul'dan, I feel they use it incorrectly. A lot of people I see, they build up 3 charge, then they hit Hand of Gul'dan. Build up 3, and I don't think it's designed to work that way. I think it's designed as soon as you get a shard, you hit Hand of Gul'dan. Get another shard, hit Hand of Gul'dan. And when the Demon Bolt lights up, you hit that, it gives you an extra 2, you hit Hand of Gul'dan. I think that's how it's designed to work. Because if you look at the way that the Nether portal is designed, it works with that sequence of events. So as you're doing the... Use your Shadow Boat to give you a Show Stone, hit Hand of Gul'dan. That pulls another demon through the Nether portal, which helps your imp. So you end up with like 4 to 5 extra demons on top of the 1 or 2 imps that you're pulling through each time. So in a short span of time, that 30 seconds, you can pull about 8 to 10 demons out through the portal. And I believe that although the attacks, depending on the demon, can be physical, shadow damage, and so forth, Shadowflame, I think their overall real effect is damage over time. They're essentially dot powers. Even though they're not labeled as dot powers, I think of them as damage over time. But it's done through the pet and not through one power. That's how I like to think of them. And I start to do that in this video here with the Hand of Gul'dan. See, I cast, then I hit Hand of Gul'dan. Cast Shadow Boat, Hand of Gul'dan. At that time I used the implosion thing, but I think here I was just playing around with the little implosion thing. So there I am. Shadow Boat, Hand of Gul'dan. Shadow Boat, Hand of Gul'dan. now that I have the meters up there, I can get a good sense of how to use the powers more. But you see Shadowbolt is the workhorse up there, along with the pet damage, and then all the other stuff is way down there. So I feel to effectively use Hand of Gul'dan is don't wait for the 3 shards to build up. Use it as soon as you get a shard, and it does more damage over time, and it runs neck and neck with Shadowbolt up there in damage. And I feel that they're both designed to work together in tandem, like 1-2 effect. Here's where I do the just blasting him with Shadowbolt. The more I play, I really don't understand what versatility does. I can read what it does, but I still don't see how it makes my life better as a warlock. I see what mastery does, I see what critical strike does, I see what haste does, but I don't really see what versatility is doing. Now, why I started to rethink Hand of Gul'dan is, as I'm watching the damage, I'm noticing that Hand of Gul'dan isn't doing a lot of damage. So, I started fooling around with different ways to deploy it, and to get the maximum amount of effort out of it. That's sort of why I came up with cast Shadowbolt, hit Hand of Gul'dan. Cast Shadowbolt, hit Hand of Gul'dan. And that seems to make Hand of Gul'dan more effective, in my opinion. So look at it way down there, 1.4k. Shadowbolt is way up there, look at that. And I'm reading from the damage meter that the pet's doing a lot of damage. Practicing my crowd control abilities there. I'm not really incorporating that technique. But I thought it was here's where I started doing it. When I was on this boat. See right there, they're kind of together. Shadow Bolt and Hannah go down. Here we go, we're back on deck. Main deck, anyway. I seem to remember running up a hill in this. I remember running up on that hill and killing all those mages. And then we talked to the Loa way up at the top of the temple. For myself, the whole part of the story with the Loa, all the exposition of the Loa was all very interesting. I got a real enjoyment out of that part of the story. As I play World of Warcraft more and more, I look for every opportunity to really get something out of the lore. It's part of the story. It's fascinating. It's interesting. It's definitely one of the highlights of the game. RP walk here. just amazing how much story I had gone through from the 5th of September to the 20th of September. I'm just fascinated that there's a lot of story in that time. Just a week. Seemed like a month worth of story and compacted in that one little period of time. Now, this is not part of the island expedition. I think what ends up happening is I finished out this part, and then when I came back the next day, I started off doing the dungeon thing, got that over with. Then I took a break and came back, and I went and did the island expedition part. All the stuff with Wasambi takes place in the Nazmir area. And then in the Voldan area, you deal with the Volpera and the Tortello. That's what they are, the turtle dudes. Tortellin. That was pretty cool story. All the Tortellin people sound like they're over 80 years old. Whole race of senior citizens. Now, when you're venturing up these little slopes, you gotta be careful because Alliance people like to sneak up on you and take advantage of this situation. It's the first time in this part that the sound was all weird. It was kind of quiet for a while, then it started picking up again. Top of the hour. Oh, it's going to fall. When you look at the Horde history in World of Warcraft, each major faction had to overcome some conflict prior to their entry into it. Not that the Horde made them do that, it's just they all overcome some huge conflict. Except for maybe the goblins. But their island blew up, so. I didn't find this part to be all that difficult. It was just running up the hill. I think when I got all the way to the top, there was an Alliance guy up there. That's always a disappointing reality. Azeroth would be a better place if the Alliance just wasn't in the game, I think. Alliance is just so annoying. Trying to read something important and an Alliance guy just shows up and ruins the moment. This turns out to be a cool moment in the story.
Greetings. I serve the Zandalari.
So this guy kind of takes you on this little trip. You unlock all these little ports. It's kind of cool.
Zandalari will endure. I am sworn to defend the royal family.
I seem to recall running up to this boat and do you like commit suicide or something? Wasn't the outcome I was thinking was going to happen. It was kind of a, what do you call it when you're watching TV and the plot takes a turn? Plot twist, is that what it is? You can tell I like Shadowboat and Hannah go down there. So here we go. We run to the end of the dock, come up on the thing, and I thought these guys jumped off the pier when we came running up. Yeah, that's what happened. Just looking for a fight, and those guys, they didn't want to engage. Look at that, they just committed suicide. Something was happening on the boat. I guess the experiment gone wrong. This is the first glimpse that you're getting that the Zool people are experimenting with the old gods.
What do you ask of the Zandalar?
Coming up to the last 4 minutes of the video.
Our
The final video for the 5th of September. Seems like it took forever to get out of this video series. But the 6th of September is even longer. So, something to look forward to in the next day. So our battle for Azeroth continues. I believe in doing this was what is the stepping stone to the island expedition. I don't know if they're interconnected other than they had to do this one first and then the island expedition stuff next. Because they send you to talk to this guy who is the island expedition guy.
Dazoku! Welcome, traveler!
And what ended up happening here is we couldn't, I think, select one of these is what happened. So I ended up having to reset the UI. See, won't let us pick it.
Go with the wind. Find new horizons.
So I shut all these off. This is why in part 5 I ended up all of my stuff turned off.
Ah, it's you!
And I was just showing that it doesn't work if you reset the UI. See, you gotta completely log out and to your desktop and reload the game, and that clears out that fault. So that ends this part. See you next time here on the Warlock Journal on the Agamemnon Game Review. Take care.